Welcome to the deep dive.
Glad to be here.
Today we're tackling Monerex. You might have heard the name floating around.
Definitely been making some waves.
We've got their white paper here, the Monerex 2024.pdf, to guide us.
Yep, straight from the source.
And our mission today is basically, what is Monerex? And maybe more importantly, why should you care? Especially if you're, Gen Z, thinking about where finance and tech are headed.
Exactly. Let's cut through the hype and figure out what it actually does and why it might matter for how you handle your money in the future.
All right, let's jump in. So first things first, what exactly is Monerex? In simple terms.
Okay, so think of it as a next generation finance platform. It's built using Web3 technology.
Web3, so decentralized internet stuff.
Pretty much, giving users more control. Monerex's big goals are making finance easier for everyone to access, banking the unbanked, plus making things faster, like instant payments, lower fees, and more secure.
Okay, so it sounds like it's trying to connect the old world of finance with the new crypto world.
Bang on. That's a core part of it. Smoothing out the connection between regular currencies and digital ones. And a key piece of tech they use for this is the XRPL.
The XRP ledger.
Right. Yeah. It's known for being really fast and cheap for transactions, which is, essential for what they're trying to pull off.
Makes sense. Their CEO, Mark J. Otto, has this quote, "Everything is connected." That seems to fit.
It really sums up their vision, connecting all these different financial pieces.
Got it. Now let's talk about their launchpad. Mexico. Why start there? Seems specific.
Yeah, Mexico's a really interesting choice, but it makes a lot of sense when you look closer. First off, it's got a big, thriving economy, a major player in global trade.
Yeah.
And it has this vibrant mix of cultures, plus a really large young population that's super comfortable with tech and probably open to new financial tools.
Right, the demographic aspect. What about the rules and regulations? Crypto can be tricky sometimes.
That's actually another plus for Mexico. They've been quite progressive, relatively speaking. They passed a fintech law back in 2018, and they actually recognize crypto as a valid payment method. So Monerex has a clear legal framework to work within there.
That's a big advantage. And I remember reading about remittances, money sent home from the U.S.
Huge factor, absolutely huge. You've got over 40 billion US dollars sent to Mexico every year, mainly from people of Mexican origin working in the States.
Wow, 40 billion.
Yeah, it's sent by around 11 million people and supports something like 10 million people back in Mexico across millions of households.
And the old ways of sending that money are?
Often slow and expensive. Banks and traditional services take a cut, plus currency conversion fees. It adds up.
So Monerex steps in with the XRPL.
Exactly, offering much faster, almost instant transfers and significantly lower costs. Think about what that means for the families receiving that money, getting more of it faster. It's a big deal.
Definitely a strong use case. What about people in Mexico who don't have traditional bank accounts?
That's another core focus for Monerex. A large percentage of the population there is unbanked or underbanked. They don't have easy access to basic financial services.
Right.
Monerex wants to change that. They're even planning these things called Monerex digital asset hubs.
Like crypto ATMs.
Essentially, yeah. But maybe a bit more. Putting them in more remote areas to give people actual physical access points to digital finance.
So people could, set up an account there, cash in, cash out?
Exactly. Create an account, handle transactions, bridge the gap between cash and digital money. It aligns perfectly with Mexico's own goals for financial inclusion. Imagine someone in a small town finally getting access.
That's really interesting. So these hubs or crypto ATMs, let's dive into those a bit more. Monerex connection hubs, they call them.
Yeah, connection hubs. The idea is to provide real financial access points, especially for communities that have been left out, including indigenous groups like Mayan communities.
Leveling the playing field, kind of.
That's the goal, connecting them to the blockchain, letting them actually participate in this growing digital economy.
So what can you actually do at one of these hubs?
Well, besides setting up an account, you can perform various transactions, switch easily between digital currencies and, regular pesos. And importantly, it's also a place to learn, get information about digital finance, how the Monerex app works.
And the cost.
The aim is to make transactions much more affordable than the fees you'd typically pay through traditional channels.
Okay, that covers individuals needing access.
Right.
What about businesses? What's Monerex offering them?
They've got solutions there too. A payment gateway that's for online stuff and a point of sale or POS system for physical stores.
Right, so for a small local business.
For them, it's about cutting costs mainly. lower transaction fees compared to banks. Plus, it opens up their customer base. They can accept crypto, potentially reach international customers more easily.
And it probably simplifies things.
Yeah, streamline mobile payments, maybe less paperwork. And enhanced security is a big selling point too, protecting financial data.
Okay. What about bigger players, retail chains or wholesalers?
For retailers, the focus is often on improving that checkout experience. Think like one-click payment options to reduce abandoned carts.
Yeah. Fewer clicks equals more sales.
Exactly, offering more payment choices to cards, crypto, whatever. Plus, those reduced transaction costs mean better profit margins, and faster settlement means cash flows better.
Makes sense. And wholesalers dealing B2B.
Similar benefits, but maybe scaled up. Faster, cheaper global transactions using that XRPL speed. Accessing clients who prefer digital payments. And they mention using smart contracts, those automated digital agreements, to potentially streamline B2B payments, reduce admin headaches, maybe even disputes.
Automated settlements. Interesting.
Yeah, and maybe even better inventory management because the payment data is real time.
What if your business deals internationally a lot?
Then Monerex really highlights the speed, near instant cross-border payments versus waiting days. That's a game changer. Plus, the security helps mitigate fraud risk in international deals. It positions businesses as being, tech forward.
And ready for the future, like those CBDCs you mentioned.
Exactly. They're building with an eye towards central bank digital currencies, making sure businesses using their platform can integrate smoothly if and when those become mainstream.
Okay, businesses are covered. Let's swing back to individuals. What about the app, the digital wallet?
Right, the Monerex digital wallet. This is meant to be your central hub for managing your money on the platform.
Easy to use.
That seems to be the focus. They talk about one-click payments, simple ways to store your card details digitally and securely.
Security must be huge for a wallet.
Absolutely. They emphasize blockchain tech, cryptography, the standard security measures you'd expect. Plus, a key thing is asset autonomy. You manage your own private keys, meaning you truly own your crypto.
Unlike keeping it on some exchanges, maybe.
Potentially, yeah. More control. You can also do global transactions without the usual bank hurdles, access DeFi apps.
Decentralized finance. We'll get more into that.
Yep. And spend your crypto directly at merchants. They offer different wallet types too. One integrated into their system, one linked to their upcoming debit card, and a fully decentralized self-custody option for maximum control.
Okay, you mentioned the crypto debit card. That sounds pretty useful.
Yeah.
How's that supposed to work?
Yeah, the Monerex crypto debit card is a planned feature. The idea is simple. Spend your crypto like normal money.
Anywhere.
Anywhere that accepts regular debit or credit cards. Online, in stores, it would support their own MXI token, XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, probably others.
But how does it work at the checkout? The store owner doesn't want Bitcoin, usually.
Right. The cool part is the seamless conversion. When you pay, the card automatically converts the right amount of your chosen crypto into the local currency, dollars, pesos, whatever, right at the point of sale.
Okay. So the merchant gets paid in regular money.
Exactly. You manage it all through the app, see your balances, track spending. Security is obviously a focus with things like two-factor authentication.
And it ties into that financial inclusion idea again.
Definitely. It gives people who might only hold crypto a way to spend it easily in the real world without needing a traditional bank account for everything. Plus, they're planning cashback rewards.
Cashback? How?
Tied to holding their MXI token. The more MXI you stake or lock up, the better the cashback rewards you might get when you use the card. Kind of an incentive to hold their token.
Got it. Let's circle back quickly to remittances, those international money transfers. You said faster and cheaper, but how exactly?
So Monerex Remit is their dedicated service for this. Leveraging the XRPL's speed is key transfers are processed almost in real time, not days.
Okay, speed is one thing. What about cost?
They promise transparency on fees and real-time exchange rates. The goal is that the recipient gets more of the money that was sent without hidden charges eating into it.
And security. Always a concern with money transfers.
Yep. They mention strong encryption, multi-factor authentication, the standard security protocols to keep funds safe during transfer. It's about making it reliable and affordable for those crucial family support payments.
Okay, makes sense. Now let's get a bit more technical. What's really powering all of this behind the scenes? The tech stack.
So the core engine is the Monerex API, their application programming interface. And as we mentioned, it's built fundamentally on the XRP ledger.
Right, the XRPL.
That's what enables the really fast settlements and direct payments we talked about. Remember those 3 to 6 second cross-border payments? That's XRPL speed compared to the usual 2-4 days.
That difference is massive. What about keeping it all secure?
Multiple layers. The XRPL itself has a consensus mechanism designed for speed and security, resisting certain kinds of attacks. Then, Monerex adds cryptographic security for transactions, digital signatures, public-private keys. Access is secured using tokens, standard web security like HTTPS.
Like OAuth, things like that?
Exactly. Secure communication channels. Plus, they have KYC Know Your Customer and AML anti-money laundering procedures.
Standard compliance stuff.
Right. Verifying users, detecting fraud. They also mention separating payment data for extra protection.
Okay. Now, crypto often gets a bad rap for environmental impact, energy use.
That's a really important point, and Monerex addresses it directly. They specifically chose the XRPL partly because it's known for being eco-friendly.
How so? Compared to Bitcoin, for example.
Very different. Bitcoin uses proof-of-work mining, which is incredibly energy-intensive. The XRPL uses a different consensus method that doesn't involve mining like that. It's vastly more energy efficient. The white paper quotes it as being something like 120,000 times more energy efficient than traditional mining blockchains.
Wow. Okay, that's a significant difference.
Huge. It aligns Monerex with sustainability goals, which is increasingly important, especially in places like Mexico that have their own environmental targets, green finance, essentially.
Good point. And you mentioned central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, earlier.
Yeah.
How does Monerex see those fitting in?
They seem pretty positive about the potential. They envision their platforms seamlessly integrating CBDCs if and when central banks issue them.
What would be the benefit of that integration?
Well, potentially more trust, as it's backed by a central bank. Better interoperability between different systems, maybe wider financial inclusion if CBDCs are designed that way. Also, potentially even greater efficiency and liquidity in the financial system, plus enhanced transparency through real-time reporting capabilities.
So they're trying to be future-proof.
Seems like it. They also mention compliance with things like ISO 2022, which is a global standard for financial messaging, and Mexican financial regulations like those from the CNBV, staying aligned with the established and emerging financial world.
Makes sense. What about AI? Artificial intelligence is everywhere now. Is Monerex using it?
They are, yeah. They plan to integrate AI using models like those from OpenAI in several ways.
Like what? Helping users?
Potentially, yes. Things like predictive analytics to offer personalized financial advice based on your spending or saving patterns.
Okay. Like a robo-advisor built in.
Sort of, yeah. And for their business partners, AI could help with asset management, better tracking, real-time risk assessment, smarter reporting. They talk about supply chain optimization for businesses using AI to predict demand, manage inventory better, predictive financial analytics for revenue and expense trends, getting business intelligence from data understanding customer preferences, market trends, even streamlining accounting tasks, and, importantly, using AI for intelligent fraud detection by analyzing transaction patterns in real time.
So AI is touching lots of different parts of the platform.
Looks like it, enhancing efficiency, personalization, and security.
Okay, let's talk about their own token, the Monerex token, MXI. What's its role in all this?
Right, MXI, it's their native utility token running on the XRPL. Its main jobs are for rewards within the ecosystem and for peer-to-peer transfers between Monerex users.
So you can use it for payments on the platform.
Yes, for fast, low-fee payments. And it's also designed to plug into the DeFi world.
How so? DeFi integration.
Yeah, things like staking, locking up your MXI to earn rewards, providing liquidity to decentralized exchanges.
Yeah.
Yield farming, potentially decentralized lending and borrowing using MXI.
So ways to potentially earn passive income with the token.
That's the idea. Plus, holding or staking MXI might unlock other benefits, like that cash back on the debit card we mentioned, or even having some say in the platform's future governance.
You mentioned staking rewards. I also saw something about token burning. What's that about?
Ah, yes, the burning mechanism. This is quite common in crypto projects. It's an automatic process designed to reduce the total supply of MXI tokens over time.
How does it work? They just delete tokens?
Kind of. A small portion of the transaction fees paid on the platform gets automatically burned, essentially removed from circulation permanently. Also, when staking rewards are generated, they might burn a small percentage of those rewards before they're distributed to the stakers.
And the idea is?
Scarcity. As the platform grows and more transactions happen, more tokens get burned. Reducing the supply, in theory, could make the remaining tokens more valuable, assuming demand stays steady or increases. Basic supply and demand.
Okay. What about the numbers? Tokenomics, they call it.
Yeah.
Total supply. Distribution.
Right, tokenomics. The total supply of MXI is capped permanently at 100 billion tokens. No more can ever be created.
100 billion, that's a lot.
It is, but token supply numbers vary wildly in crypto. Importantly, they state that 50%, so 50 billion, is locked in a multi-signature escrow.
For stability.
For stability and trust, yeah,
Yeah.
to prevent a sudden flood of tokens onto the market. The other 50 billion is allocated across different areas.
Like kind.
Let's see, pre-sale got 15%, ecosystem development gets a big chunk, 25%, team and advisors 10%, reserves 10%, rewards and incentives for users another 10%, partnerships 10%, marketing is 5%, and then an initial DEX offering, or IDO, is planned for 15%.
Okay, quite a detailed breakdown. You mentioned DeFi earlier, and they have something specific called Iris Protocol.
Exactly. Iris Protocol is positioned as Monerex's own suite of DeFi services. Think of it as their dedicated space for decentralized lending, yield farming, and that sort of thing.
So users interacting directly with each other financially.
Pretty much. Peer-to-peer lending, where you can earn interest or passive income through yield farming by providing your crypto assets to liquidity pools. It uses smart contracts to automate these processes and manage collateral securely, aiming to offer various ways for users to put their assets to work and earn returns.
And this follows core DeFi principles.
Yeah, they emphasize that. Things like permissionless access, anyone can participate. Transparency, the code is usually open source. Interoperability, working with other DeFi protocols. And crucially, user custody, you keep control of your own assets.
Okay, brings us back nicely to that crypto debit card again. Let's just nail down the main appeal one last time.
The Monerex crypto debit card, yeah. The big deal is making crypto spendable in everyday life. Universal spending power.
Using MXI, XRP, Bitcoin.
Right. Any merchant that takes Visa or MasterCard, basically, online, offline, the key is that seamless, automatic conversion to local currency at the point of sale.
So it just works like a normal card for the user and the merchant.
That's the goal. Managed via the app, real-time visibility, strong security focus, and again, that financial inclusion angle, democratizing access, no traditional bank account necessarily needed.
Plus the cashback rewards linked to staking MXI.
Exactly. An incentive built in. It really ties together the payment network, the token, and the user experience.
Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground. Let's try and wrap this up. What are the main takeaways from this deep dive into Monerex?
I think the core thing is seeing Monerex as this really comprehensive platform. It's leveraging Web3 tech, starting smart with a focus on financial inclusion in Mexico, which is a huge market with real needs.
It is not just one thing.
No, it's got solutions for individuals, the
Right.
wallet, the remit service, the upcoming card, and for businesses of all sizes with the payment gateway and POS. Plus, they're integrating advanced tech like the efficient XRPL and AI and building out their own token ecosystem with MXI and DeFi opportunities through Iris Protocol.
So the overarching themes seem to be accessibility, efficiency.
Accessibility, efficiency, security, and even sustainability with the XRPL choice. It's really aiming to build a different kind of financial future.
Trying to empower a new generation, maybe, in this digital economy.
That definitely seems to be the narrative, giving people more control and access.
Definitely leaves you thinking about how platforms like this could reshape finance. If you want to dig deeper into Monerex yourself, you can check out their website. That's monerex.io.
They're also on Instagram at Monerex Official. They have a Discord server, search for Monerex Official, and a LinkedIn page at monerex.io.
For support questions, the email is support@monerex.io, and their official company, Monerex International SA to CD, is based in Tulum, Mexico.
And they made a point in the white paper to thank their community, partners, team, and the regulatory bodies they're working with. Collaboration is key in this space.
Absolutely. Lots to watch here. Thanks for breaking it down.
My pleasure. Always interesting to see what's new in fintech and crypto.